Hello and welcome. Now, if you're listening, you're likely a high-performing individual, maybe in business, coaching, perhaps athletics, and you're always looking for that edge. And today, we're doing a deep dive into a really powerful idea. It comes from Coach Ed Padalecki, specifically his publication, Bite-Size Greatness.
And the core idea, it's immediately relevant. Coach P really focuses on how tackling these massive, seemingly daunting objectives, well, how it's actually possible.
Precisely. So our mission today, unpack this idea, how breaking down what feels insurmountable into, well, small, genuinely manageable steps, what Coach P calls bite-sized, how that can unlock some pretty extraordinary results, whatever your field is.
And he uses a classic example, doesn't he? The Roger Bannister story.
The 4-minute mile, yes, a perfect illustration. Think back for a second. There was a time when running a mile in under 4 minutes was, well, widely considered physically impossible.
A hard limit. And the mental barrier there was probably just as significant as any physical one. A lot of experts said it couldn't be done.
And this is what Coach Padalecki really highlights. Bannister didn't just wake up one day and, magically run a 4-minute mile. It wasn't like that at all.
No, his training was strategic. It was a deliberate sequence, breaking down that ultimate goal.
So Coach P details this progression, right? Bannister first worked meticulously towards running a 1/4 mile in 1 minute.
Okay, achievable in itself, but a stepping stone.
Then a 1/2 mile in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And 3/4 of a mile in, you guessed it, 3 minutes.
Ah, I see. So each stage was sort of a validation, proof that the next part was possible.
Exactly. Each step was a win. It built capability, sure, but also confidence. And it all culminated in that famous mile on May 6th, 1954.
So the big takeaway here isn't some sudden leap of faith or ability.
Not at all. It was this calculated series of achievable micro goals, building both, the physical capacity and that crucial psychological belief, believing it was possible.
There's a really powerful lesson there. For anyone facing something that just feels huge, overwhelming.
Absolutely. It reminds me of that Henry Ford quote, "Nothing is particularly hard if you break it into small enough pieces."
Yeah, that resonates perfectly. It echoes across so many different fields, doesn't it? Making the overwhelming actually feel approachable, manageable.
So let's bring this right back to you, the listener. Think about your own wildly important goal, as Coach P might put it, that big ambition.
Yeah, that target in your professional life, maybe your coaching practice or your athletic journey. The one that maybe feels a bit intimidating just because of its sheer size.
Okay, so using Coach Padalecki's approach here,
Yeah.
what's your next bite-sized target? That doable micro goal within the bigger picture.
Something specific and actionable, right? Something that feels genuinely achievable soon and, crucially, makes that next step seem less daunting.
And then let's get even smaller, granular. What is the very next baby step? Like the immediate action you could take, maybe even right now.
However small it seems.
Exactly. Because what's really insightful, and this draws from Coach Padalecki's other work too, like in Peak Performance Today, is that consistent progress.
Those intentional, small, daily micro decisions.
That's the real engine. That's what builds momentum. It's those small wins compounding over time.
It's not about conquering the mountain in one go. Like Bannister didn't just aim for 3.59 on day 1 of training.
Right. You don't need to tackle your biggest challenges all at once. The real power, as Coach P really emphasizes, is in starting small.
And starting now.
Yes. So the challenge for you, the high achiever listening, revisit those questions from Coach Ed Padalecki.
What is your next micro goal? Nail that down.
And what's your immediate baby step? The very next thing.
And maybe the most critical question is now a good time to actually take that step? Any reason not to?
Because perhaps when you really think about it, the only truly impossible thing is failing to take that very first seemingly tiny bite-sized step towards whatever your biggest ambitions are.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this gives you some food for thought as you continue on your journey.